My name is Liban Roba Duba, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Tana and Athi Rivers Development Authority, an authority established by the government of Kenya to ensure the sustainable utilization of resources in the Tana and Athi River basins, in particular the water and soil resources. So today I will speak on strengthening mechanisms and systems for effective climate governance for communities through research. And I'm delighted to be here. I also take cognizance in the fact that the number of people in this room are quite young, and it shows me that there's an interest from the young population, the interest that has previously not been there in matters climate. My presentation is quite short. We'll take you through the introduction, the role of government through TARDA, the climate governance gap, and building strong climate governance systems, followed by research on community climate systems, and then the case studies on the basin works. Climate change is a common term. I don't want to go into definition. We have just been given the definition by Daktari. But climate change over time has evolved from an environmental issue to a governance and developmental challenge or dialogue. And in that regard, effective response requires systems that integrate science, institutions, and communities in one feedback loop. It's for that reason I believe that you are in this gathering and this engagement. Our system on climate governance must mature from project-based systems and to interventions that are institutionalized and evidence-led systems. Sorry, I keep turning. Let me get it on my phone here. Allow me to take you through the role of government, particularly TARDA on behalf of government, established in 1974 under COP443, whose mandate is the governance focused and the coordination of multi-sectoral planning and climate adaptation across two of Kenya's largest basins, that is the Athi and Tana Basin, representing approximately 40% or 138,000 square kilometers of landmass within this country. Some of the key governance functions of TARDA or the government is the development of basin-level climate strategies and coordination frameworks, and the translation of scientific research into basin investment plans and the county priority action areas. TARDA covers by jurisdiction 19 counties and multiple agencies within those 19 counties. We are both a technical implementer and a policy integrator, bridging government, academia, and communities. We do have a climate governance gap in the country. And despite progress that has been made over the years, there is fragmentation and weak institutional coordination limiting Kenya's climate response. I would like to go through it and then, of course, open up conversations with regards to this. Some of the key challenges in this area are that research often remains in academia, and the linkage of academic research to practical implementation has experienced a gap. We have counties that run CIDPs, counties that run their planning cycles, and the misalignment of these planning cycles within the counties and the national government. Sometimes we experience the lack of synergy between counties that may not share a boundary, but do have shared resources and the disjointed approaches in the management of those shared resources. For example, seated here in Nairobi, the water that you consume comes from the Abadeas, comes from Nyandarua County. You may not know Nyandarua County is water scarce. So the governance of climate matters within Nairobi County has to bear in mind what is happening in the Abadeas. the water issues in Isiolo County. The backbone of the water infrastructure in Isiolo County is Ewasonyiro. The source of this Ewasonyiro lies in Olbolosat. So, but the geographical boundaries of Olbolosat are within Laikipia, not Laikipia, within Nyandarua. So, if there is no communication or joint approach in the management of this ecosystem, we are just bound to run into trouble not very long from now. Then we do have data systems that are fragmented, limiting early warning and adaptive decision making. We have multiple agencies collecting data, and despite the collection of data across these multiple agencies, we have agencies also collecting data in their own format. So the abilities to synergize this data and come up with decision making sometimes portends challenges for our climate governance. And then most importantly, community participation is still tokenistic rather than institutionalized. Over time, community engagement, public participation has been a matter of ticking the box, in donor compliance, in project compliance. Over time, this gap has to be filled and we must institutionalize. Perhaps also one of the reasons that I derive joy in seeing you here is the beginning or the continuing of engaging citizenry in these decisions. So without systemic integration, climate policy remains aspirational rather than operational for us as a country. Move on. To build strong climate governance systems, then we need to have research to policy mechanism, the institutionalization of climate research as an input in county and national planning, and the establishment of standardized protocol for translating research output into briefs. There must be a standardization of this protocol. There must be a standardization and unification of the data and the metrics that we pick in the manner that we pick them and the purpose for which we use them to influence policy. The coordinated institutional frameworks, strengthening basin-based coordination units under RDAs or regional development agencies to guide joint action across counties. As I said earlier, again, the bulk of part of the water we consume comes from the northern collector tunnel. So we do have counties that do have resources, and these resources are shared across. If there is no coordinated mechanism, you will find one county. Just come closer home on the Nairobi River. We do have Nairobi River as part of the larger Athi River. Athi River feeds into Thwake Dam. Thwake is in the county of Makueni. So if we don't take cognizant or there is no deliberate effort within the county's institution of Nairobi to manage that ecosystem, the people of Makueni have to pay a price for it. And likewise, if the people of Makueni don't take considerations into a coordinated approach in management of this asset or this natural resource, downstream, 6-7 counties have to suffer. We have to build climate intelligence systems, build integrated databases that combine hydrology, land use, and social economic data for planning. Sometime back 2 years ago when we had El Nino in this country, our sister country in EAC, Jumuiya of Tanzania, also experienced the same. But I want to bring your attention to one of the interviews in the media. When one of the administrators was asked about flooding in Dar es Salaam, he said, "We don't have flooding." So the media people were telling him, "But we can see water getting into the roofs and windows of the building." He said, "The water is getting into the building, but we don't have flooding. But what is it we are seeing?" He said, "In the planning of Dar es Salaam, you cannot come and build on the waterway when the water has left. Then when the water is back, you say we are experiencing flooding. We are not experiencing flooding. The water is back on the natural pathway." So there must be a coordinated approach. There must be personal responsibility